You know, all of this, though, Professor Spector, then comes down to a key question. When you look at policy, how do you're saying that we cannot conceive of a world where there will be zero COVID. That then boils down to the key question, when do we unlock? Britain, where you are, has delayed its unlocking by about a month. Across the world, on the other hand, you've got countries like Australia relocking now. Is there an ideal time? Do you see a sweet spot when a country or a city should be unlocking? Is there any clarity now on that issue?
I think each country's got to make its mind up about the balance between its health service and its economy, and the mentality of the people. And I think maybe the idea that there's one position in time where everything is back to normal, I don't think is really reality. And the UK is talking about ending lockdown and that's it, because as a big political sort of gesture. But it doesn't make sense to then just after that have that the Euro football finals with 60,000 people in a stadium where you're going to generate lots of new cases. I think you can still be sensible, get 95% of the country working fully again, and just keep a few sensible restrictions just to limit these mass outbreaks that could cause local problems to the health service. But each country's got to weigh up how it can deal with the health service sides of it. If it can deal with those, then it should open up. I think that should be the criteria, and every country's got to make its own mind up about how we do that.
The other challenge, both for India and across the world, remains vaccination. We are seeing some countries vaccinating much faster than others. There is also a debate in that context, Professor Spector, as to which vaccine is the most effective against Delta plus and against Delta and, dare I say, Delta plus. You say vaccines are working, they limit hospitalization. Are you talking only about AstraZeneca or Covishield as it's called here? Are you talking of the mRNA vaccines like Pfizer? Do you see among the existing pool of vaccines, some vaccines far more effective than others, or are the distinctions very minor?
In the UK, and where we get our data from the Zoe app from, where we have over 1 million people have logged their vaccines, we have about half on Pfizer and slightly more on AstraZeneca and a few on Moderna. So that's really all we have to go on. And in general, the patterns are broadly similar for both the vaccines. But if you look at its response against the Delta variant, we see a slight advantage to the Pfizer one compared to the AstraZeneca. And that might just be because we're also including response after just one jab. So after one jab, the Pfizer does better. There's not as much difference when you get after 2 jabs.
Interesting. After 1 jab, Pfizer does better. 2 jabs, you're saying there isn't much distinction. Now, this also, Professor Spector, comes at a time when there's a lot of talk about using a cocktail of vaccines, mixing vaccines and potentially using them as a booster dose in a few months from now. Is that also inevitable now?
Yeah, I think we're seeing, I'm seeing my medical colleagues who've been finished vaccinated back in March, getting reinfected again. And I think they will now be given boosters with, perhaps the other alternate vaccines to increase the breadth of their immunity. So I think we're going to start seeing boosters again at the end of the year. And I expect these will be mix and match type ones to try and combat these new variants, to get as wide a difference in our immune responses, because the 2 vaccines do work differently. So hopefully, if you get both of them, then you'll get maximum protection. And there's some studies going on at the moment that are looking into that. We don't have the results, but in theory, it should work like that. So I'm expecting, I was vaccinated back in February. I should be getting a booster as other doctors are before the end of the year, because we know that after about 6 months, our immunity does start to wane again. So this is a long, ongoing battle. This isn't something we can just say it's going to be over in a few months.